Join us for a new review of the Audi SQ5. Let's go! The SQ5 has those horizontal fins right there, so a little stronger front grille. Overall, it has a big size, and also then here with the darker situations, also in the lower part. Daytona Grey is the exterior color for today, by the way. LED is standard, and optionally you can also get the LED matrix light then with a better function for the high beam. What do you think about the design in the front, guys? 4.66 m, 15'3" or 183 inches is the length of the Audi Q5 in general. It's of course the same also for the SQ5. Standard comes all with 20-inch wheels. Those ones here are the optional 21-inch wheels. See here then also with the contrasting red brake calipers in the S version. We also have those carbon side mirror pads here. The rear is rather subtle, so to say, so not too much styling going on there. In this new Q5 generation, you have those three-dimensional tail lamps. They're also drawn horizontally, SQ5 badge. And then the special sporty feature is rather in this lower area, where you have some comp-style inserts right there. And this one here, I mean, from the far perspective, it could look like there would be some exhaust, but I'm not really sure if they pretend to be exhaust. So what do we have under the hood here? For the US, the 6-turbo petrol engine. This one here in Europe, we had the SQ5 so far as a petrol. Now it comes again as a diesel, as it was in the previous generation. This one here, 3-liter TDI V6, 350 horsepower, 700 newton meters of torque, and 5.1 seconds is the acceleration to 100 kilometers or 62 miles an hour. Overdrive distribution is a standard base quattro, like the old ones, 40% front, 6% in the rear, a real permanent all-wheel drive. Then a little bit adaptive, 70% of the drive to the front maximum, 85% to the rear at max, so you can also vary there a little bit. And this one here is also a 48-volt board net, so you also have a mild hybrid system. Nice build quality here with the carbon fiber inlet. You can pick that one here, or also aluminum inlet is also available. Then you have the microfiber insert right here, together with some leather red arm cover. And the top part of the door, actually, it's not entirely soft, but it's also not entirely hard. It's, let's say, something in between. And the same also accounts for the lower area, by the way. That's not super hard, but also not super soft. Yeah, about that. I mean, it looks somehow spectacular, but would you take that one? Please tell me in the comments. It comes directly, the SQ5 here, with sport seats here with stronger bolstering, but we can all calm down because you can either pick either a sport seat or an S sport seat, so two forms available. And they usually come with Alcantara insert on the middle part and are available as black or in grey. Let's now get inside. It's of course an easy entry. Here in the sports version you have a little bit lower seating position, but it doesn't change your driving position here so much. It changes the driving itself. Yes, we'll soon experience that, but as you sit right here, and of course when you stick with normal adaptive suspension, then you sit even a little bit lower. But you have a lot of space here in the front. When you with 86 or 6'1" have plenty of headroom left, especially if there's no panoramic roof. That one, of course, is available. Interior overview with rather classic setup. Soft touch right here. Those parts here could be a little bit better, I think, from the overall finish. Other than that, it's really cool. Also with the Quattro logo there. This one is the carbon fiber inlet. The climate unit, I really like this climate unit. My favorite one from the clicking sound, and also how clear you can see everything, and you can also adjust it while driving in a very easy way. Drive select here also still with some buttons to change the driving modes, also to an lift off-road, and the air suspension goes all the way up. That also shows from the interior that you have an air suspension there, and the niveau goes up. Quite good for off-road use. This is the main menu. Again, you use it with this lower control knob. Again, another close-up of the map. You can see this has the satellite view you get automatically with the vehicle, and in different subscriptions than that what they're doing with the models now. You can then later pay for it if you also want to have it on the long-term run. So you can also go back right here and phone either via Bluetooth or with the cable, then with the Apple Carplay or Android Auto. That looks like this. Is actually a quite nice integration, but also here, no touch. You have to go to the buttons like this via the central control knob. The virtual cockpit, very interesting, clear to read. You can also scroll through those stuff. I also have the GPS view there, for example. And then you can also make it a little bit wider. It's a very impressive sight right there. So, I mean, you're quite flexible with it, clear to read, and I think it's definitely always nice to go for those, but you will also be just fine with analog instruments whatsoever. Head-up display, always a good option. Here you can see the allowed speed or the current speed, and also some GPS directions if you have a route planned. It's a good option to go for to keep it in a line of sight, all the information. They still have some legroom right here, but not ample of legroom. Could be a little bit more considering of the size, but you have a good upright, comfortable seating position here. That's nice. And a lot of headroom. Also, you can change the angle of the seats here, pull it more backward or more upright then, depending on you like it. So a little bit of variation right there, and also variation here for the rear bench. Now let's open that hatch. 550 liters is the standard figure right there. The good thing with this hatch or SUV building style is that, well, it's just a small lip here, good quality for this loading lip. But the good thing is that it's quite high up here, so also when you, for example, put backpacks right in the front of the vehicle, it still, works, You can put it like here, and you don't have to care about that the roofline might be ending over right here. So this is actually quite well usable. So this maximum setup here is then 1,550 liters. Welcome to Thomas's Driving Lounge here with the Audi SQ5. Today, probably seen the petrol review earlier, but today is the new TDI V6, and we'll also head directly to the sports mode or dynamic mode. And the first part will be motorway to give you something of this right here in Germany. So 70 kilometers to 120, let's go. That's already it. And from the sound actuator you get some reasonable sound in here too. And it's an SUV, yes, but it has a stiffer suspension in both ways. So it usually comes with the adaptive suspension, and then you would also have a sportier note with that. This vehicle right here is equipped with the optional air suspension, which is a nice option, especially for a normal Q5, because then you have this air carpet ride. Here the air suspension is also set on a stiffer note, and especially if you are in the dynamic mode, it's actually that stiff that you would not realize you are driving an air suspension. So at the moment, here in the dynamic mode, is really like no air feedback, so to say, at all. That's of course helpful when the roads are really well surfaced, pretty even and so on, and you have a good feedback also from the car, and it's not leaning at all. It rather drives like a sports sedan, or so to say, where you just sit a little bit higher. I think it's nice that you have the drive stick still as a button you can click here. It's a little easier to change that if you compare to the very, very new Audi build types where they have this capacitive button for that, just in the lower area. So, but when I here then change to the comfort mode, not only that the RPMs go a little bit lower, just the shifting characteristic is being changed. Also the air suspension is a little bit softer then, but Don't be mistaken, this is still the SQ5 model, so the air suspension will be still stiffer. Here now some bumps are even out a little bit better, but it does not feel like a soft air suspension carpet ride. Again, because it's the S model, but again, when you want to have the S model, that's probably also what you're seeking for. But it's not that you would say, oh, when I pick the air suspension, I have a very soft ride in comparison to the normal adaptive suspension. I think with this one, you could probably then also just stick with the adaptive suspension. Let me go back to the dynamic mode because I want to show you some more acceleration from about 90 kilometers an hour. We'll do some lane change as soon as we can, then also accelerate it even out further. So we get onto the middle lane right there. Apply some more power. So let's go. And then it goes quite quickly, so you're not missing a big petrol engine performance-wise. The sound is of course a little bit different. Again, from the sound actuator you get some of a sound feedback, but not as emotional as from the petrol. Now we can go even further. That's already 190 in kilometers, so, and it stays super silent in here. You know, it's an SUV, you have more wind resistance. Also good how the brakes perform here. Such a silent experience here, very good noise insulation, and again, it's very progressive steering wheel. You don't have to steer that much. It gives still a very natural and good feedback. By the way, as for the shifting mode, you can, for example, also stick in the comfort mode and have a comfortable suspension, but then use the central shifting lever right there and put to the S shifting mode just. Then you have comfortable suspension, but yet again, a little sporty shifting, because how the car responds is not such about, turbo lag or not, it's more about the gear you are in. Let's go one more time. Wow, it's really a flawless acceleration. Now we're at 200 kilometers an hour, 125 miles. And again, it's so effortless with this vehicle, although we're standing high up in an SUV building style. And now to our conclusion for today with the Audi SQ5. Well, we have driven the petrol engine before, so also tune into that review if you like, and you will still get the turbo petrol engine for the US. Here then with the diesel, it was very interesting because you can score some decent consumption figures, so in that way it actually makes sense. It still has a lot of performance. Yes, of course, just the sound is a little bit missing. The previous generation was just available as diesel here, the SQ5 diesel in Germany, for example. Then a new generation came and people were, oh, we don't get the diesel anymore. Now it's again the other way around, so different strategy shift. Why are they doing it? Well, they try to reduce their CO2 emissions for the whole fleet. That's very important because otherwise they have to pay a lot of money if they exceed those CO2 levels. That of course is boosted by those performance models. The exterior in general is rather conservative. The Q5 are a very conservative SUV. As for the exterior styling, that was also not that different here in the new generation. The interior has a great build quality. However, you see in the new Q5 is not that old, but the infotainment systems, they get outdated so easily and so fast nowadays. So again, without a touchscreen, already quite outdated. But then again, there were a lot of you guys in the recent A4 facelift who really preferred to have still the manual dial right there. So you still get it here in the Q5 or also for the SQ5. No, it's quite a good package right there. It could have, of course, a little bit more room. But again, I think this is quite decent overall and a very well usable car here as it stands here right now. It's already quite expensive. If you think about the base price, 45, taking German price, the SQ5 then way over 60,000. With some more equipment, you get even more expensive. So it's not a cheap car at all. But then again, the difference for the SQ5 is not that huge if you compare it to other lower segments when you go for a performance variant. What do you think? Please tell me your verdict about the SQ5 and this one here. And also join us for our next episode.